We continue the broadcast of the National Marathon. My name is Olena Morozova. The team of the Rada TV channel is working for you. Up next, the latest events. Security issues, especially the provision of air defense systems and long-term financing for Ukraine, have been brought up in negotiations with allies. An important diplomatic week is beginning. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky announced this in his video address. There will be consultations with European leaders and joint positions will be determined in the negotiations. In particular, meetings are planned in London as well as in Brussels.
Some things can only be discussed in person. Umierov delivered a report. They are reporting to me. I will also be speaking with European leaders. We have meetings planned in London as well as in Brussels. And today I spoke with the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. I am also very specific in my expectation that Italy will continue to stand with Ukraine on the path to peace.
At night, Russian forces attacked the Okturka community in Sumy region with drones hitting an apartment building. This was reported by the head of the Sumy Regional Military Administration, Oleg Hrihorov, on social media. 7 civilians were injured, 2 of them were hospitalized, and 5 others received assistance and were released for outpatient treatment. An enemy drone exploded near an apartment building in the Chernihiv region, reported the head of the city military administration, Dmytro Brzezinski. 2 people sustained bruises. The blast wave shattered the windows and doors of the building, damaged cars, and caused a fire in the gas pipeline. Specialized services are working to eliminate the consequences of the emergency. 4 people were killed and 10 more were injured in the Kharkiv region. This was reported by the head of the regional military administration, Ole Sinihubov. The day before, the Russians shelled Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi with aircraft and drones, destroying residential infrastructure. And in the village of Ivashkivka in the Duhivsky district, an apartment building was damaged. The occupiers damaged infrastructure and about a dozen private houses in the Dnipropetrovsk region. They shelled the Sinelnikivsky district and the Hrushivska community. According to the regional military administration, no people were injured. Today, electricity consumption restrictions are being implemented in all regions of Ukraine due to the consequences of massive Russian missile and drone attacks on energy facilities. This was reported by Ukrenergo. The scale of the restrictions ranges from 2.5 to 4 stages. The time and extent of the restrictions may change, so please follow the information on the official pages of your regional Oblenergo. There were 139 combat engagements over the past day. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian defenders repelled the largest number of enemy attacks in the Pokrovsk direction. In the areas of Novye Donbas, Belitske, Rodinske, Mirnohrad, Molodetske, and Novopavlivka, the defense forces stopped 46 assaults. More than 10 battles took place in the Lyman and Kostyantinivka sectors. Dnipro medics are saving severely wounded soldiers from the Donetsk direction. One of them is Volodymyr. The man is currently on a ventilator and cannot speak. Another said he lost his leg. In the military, he was an engineer, making explosives for drones and equipping UAVs with the essentials for his comrades on the front line. Our hero shared his story with correspondent Nikol Savchenko.
We were helping the guys with Mavics, to set them up. That is, we were the drone operators. 5 of us went, but 2 had to turn back. We helped them out. Pokrovsk direction. 2 were supposed to head back, and already along the axis, it turns out we started to return. And in the Grove, basically, we launched drones along the paths using fiber optics, and, well, of course, they were shooting at it, but it turned out to be faster.
That's how Serhiy recalls how it all happened. He and his comrade were hunted by an enemy FPV drone. His comrade survived, but the man himself had his leg shattered and was wounded in the abdomen.
It was a fragmentation shell, as far as I understand. The body armor partially protected my back. That is, here, as I understand, there was an exit wound because they also opened up the cavity. They didn't find anything there. Apparently, the projectile just went straight through. They checked and saw that everything was fine, just some swelling. Well, that's it. So they stitched me back up.
It was Serhiy's comrades who started saving him. But the evacuation was difficult, the defender recounts. He says they were leaving under the sights of enemy drones.
It was loudest when we stopped and someone shouted, "Get up, FPV!" So the vehicle would stop and there were a few more guys with shotguns in the trailer. That is, they were checking whether it was ours or not, and if not, then we kept moving on, across the fields.
At the same time, every second counted, the doctors add.
During the evacuation stages, we transfused 2.5 liters of blood so he could make it to the hospital. But here, within the hospital walls, we have already transfused more than 3 liters. Unfortunately, with such injuries, when a limb is torn off, blood loss happens very quickly. Here, seconds determine whether a person will live or not.
But now, the threat to Serhiy's life has passed, the doctors add. And on the neighboring bed, the doctors are saving another soldier from the Donetsk direction, Volodymyr, who has been cut.
Volodymyr was tragically shot in the neck, and his vital carotid artery was severely hit, causing significant damage. It seemed like that was it, the end. He lost a lot of blood, and then there were difficult surgeries. And today, with the ventilator tube inserted in his throat, he smiles and says, "I'm doing fine."
But despite their severe injuries, both defenders are already starting to recover, the doctors add. And Serhiy is already planning to get back on his feet and return to a full life. This man is being helped by his family.
I'm glad that he survived. I hope that everything will be fine, that he will recover and be able to move, to walk, and keep on living. And that everything in his life will turn out well because no one around him is crying. He holds on, showing us that he's doing well. So we act the same way around him. Let them hold on, let them fight for their life, for their health. And then everything will be fine and life will go on.
I'll get some treatment, get myself a stylish new leg, and then we'll see how things go from there.
Nikol Savchenko, Yuri Smirnov, Rada TV channel, Nationwide Marathon United News.
India and Russia may reach a new level of military technical partnership. The countries are discussing joint production of drones, including the strike Lancets. This was reported by the American Institute for the Study of War, citing statements by Putin and the head of Rostec, Sergei Chemezov. Analysts suggest that Moscow may seek to expand cooperation with Delhi not only in the field of aviation and missile building, but also in the production of FPV drones, which Russia is likely planning to use against Ukraine. Netflix wants to acquire the film giant Warner Brothers, a deal worth over $82 billion, which is already being called one of the largest in the modern film industry. Due to the scale of the potential merger, the U.S. Department of Justice is launching an antitrust investigation which could last at least 10 months. The situation is further complicated by the resistance of the Writers Guild of America, which is demanding that the deal be completely blocked and is warning about market monopolization, job cuts, and rising prices for viewers. If the merger does go through, Netflix will acquire the rights to iconic HBO and Warner Brothers franchises and series, from Harry Potter to Game of Thrones and the DC Universe. Powerful strikes, confident looks, and a desire to win. A professional boxing night took place in Kyiv. This time, professional athletes, amateurs, and in particular servicemen stepped into the ring. Everyone competed for the right to be called the best boxer at this event. Our own Artem Derkachov also attended this spectacular event.
Box.
Packed stands of spectators, the ring, and a palpable sporting excitement. And although this isn't a fight for the title of absolute boxing champion, the passions here run just as high. Both professional boxers who regularly participate in such tournaments and those for whom a fight of this level is their debut step into the ring.
I had a dream to perform in a professional ring. I used to compete as an amateur, but well, life turns out in such a way that sometimes a man has to do what he must so that later he can do what he wants. So here I am doing what I want at 31 years old.
Ruslan, an air defense serviceman and former boxer, says that on the eve of the competition, he was on night combat duty, but despite that, he did not refuse to fight.
Before this fight, I had to balance family, fulfill my duties as part of the personnel control, report to my superiors, and of course, train twice a day. I did 12 training sessions a week based on the circumstances I had. It didn't matter if I had the opportunity or not. I trained in minus 10 degrees in dugouts wherever I could during that time. Every time I thought that I would compete, I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew it would.
At the same time, Ruslan also remembers those who traded their boxing gloves for the ring, a rifle, and the trenches.
I would like to, actually, I forgot to mention this. I wanted to honor the memory of my comrades, athletes from my city. These are guys who also took part in combat just like I did, but they were killed. These are Vitaly Melinov, Roman Kornuta, Pavlo Panfilov, Taras Shpuk, Vasil Drohomiretsky. These are guys who died. They were athletes, good athletes, I would even say dedicated athletes. They trained for a long time, some of them at a high professional level. They were masters of sport, and they were also just good, really good guys.
and the winner was judged and determined by representatives of the National League of Professional Boxing of Ukraine.
These aren't the athletes who are in the European or world rankings, but every aspiring and dedicated boxer started out their journey, often from humble beginnings at events just like these, honing their skills and passion. So this is our new generation, They need somewhere to box, and thanks to the very strong, excellent work of our Ukrainian promoters, we are holding professional boxing nights in Ukraine, despite all the circumstances we live in.
This boxing night also had a charitable purpose. During the breaks between fights, an auction was held. Sports memorabilia with autographs from famous champions were put up for auction. The organizers say that the proceeds will go to support the units of the main intelligence directorate.
This is the final tournament of the year. We have held more than, well, almost 10 of them. This is the final tournament. We already have plans for next year. Our esteemed league proudly organizes thrilling tournaments in professional boxing, intense kickboxing, and exhilarating MMA. We'll see you very soon, in the legendary octagon. It won't be a ring anymore, but an octagon. We consistently and proudly hold these significant events in steadfast support of the Artan Specialized Unit and also the main intelligence directorate, actively raising essential funds for numerous and diverse units of the brave armed forces of Ukraine.
That's why both athletes and promoters urge people not to miss such tournaments, as it's an opportunity not only to immerse yourself in the world of professional fights, but also to support the Ukrainian army. Artem Derkachov, Pavlo Bondarenko, Rada TV channel, National Marathon United News.